Hello and welcome to City Edition, Ben's news magazine show. I'm Eric King, the interim city manager, and on our first segment we will discuss Juniper Ridge, including an update to our master plan, as well as the urban growth boundary expansion and its impacts on the sewer master plan, as well as traffic problems and solutions to Highway 97.
Over the next 2 or 3 months, we hope to finalize the master plan for Juniper Ridge property.
The agreement with Juniper Ridge Partners has basically been ended.
We've paid them for their work on the master plan to date and provided them an option to compete for 50 acres of industrial land as Juniper Ridge is developed.
We, the city, are going to be working with Juniper Ridge Partners and the planners.
We just completed 2 days meeting in New York with the project master plan designers, Cooper Robertson. Purpose of those meetings was to kind of look at the current status of the master plan and figure out a transition from Juniper Ridge Partners to the city.
Cooper Robertson is about 90–95% complete with the conceptual master plan that'll set a general direction for development at Juniper Ridge.
Over a period of about 90 days, 60 to 90 days, there'll be a number of public meetings. When they're concluded, the Planning Commission and the Council will take it to the county, and we then will own the master plan and we'll have a document to use going forward.
So for the community to have a world-class master plan coming out of the MOU that was agreed to a couple of years ago turns out to be a good deal for the community.
Upon master plan approval, we also are concurrently working with Oregon Department of Transportation to get traffic solutions for the area. We need those traffic solutions primarily at Cooley and 97 to allow us to sell property here.
Well, we've got a lot of growth and development pressure here on the north end of Bend, and these intersections, US 97, both at Cooley Road and Roble Road, are at least reaching their capacity as being able to accommodate the level of traffic and the level of service that we'd like to provide.
Following the Les Schwab approvals, ODOT officially noticed us that no new transportation impacts will be allowed on the north end of Highway 97 until a major improvement is made, building more capacity.
Cooley and 97 is a project that has to happen for development to move forward at Juniper Ridge, because we need to allow for that increased traffic.
But I would say for all intents and purposes, we have a moratorium on Highway 97 in and around Cooley Road.
Yeah, today we're looking at, here on US 97 in the area of Cooley Road, at an average daily traffic volume up about 40,000 vehicles a day. And of course, with a project like this, we're looking at projecting out the growth in traffic out over 20 years, which could easily bump it up to the 70,000 vehicle a day range.
So that's the reason why we are working both for Juniper Ridge, but also for the businesses in the area. I mean, I'm very interested in being helpful as a catalyst to solving the transportation problem at Cooley and 97.
Our agreement with ODOT is that we have a plan to move forward on Cooley 97 and a way to pay for Cooley 97 before we move forward on selling additional land and rezoning additional land at Juniper Ridge.
We have a conceptual plan to do work at Cooley and 97 that's being called a midterm improvement.
We don't want to wait for federal highway money. We don't want to wait for an act of the state legislature. And yet we, the city, don't have enough resources to do it on our own. So what we're looking for is private partners in the area that want to accelerate the highway improvements so that they can go forward.
This midterm solution would be an intersection, or if you will, call it an interchange at Cooley and 97, that will allow us to move part of the way forward to developing Juniper Ridge and other properties in the area.
ODOT's long-term project likely will utilize federal funding, and anytime we use federal funding on a project of this size with the potential impacts that this project has, we'll go through an environmental study process that complies with the National Environmental Protection Act, the NEPA process.
The federal government passed a law creating metropolitan planning organizations. And what it really is a way for urban centers to communicate with state and federal government.
And currently there are 3 city councilors, a county commissioner, and an ODOT representative sitting on the MPO board. That MPO is actually going to be working towards making the long-term decisions for all of the transportation needs in the metropolitan Bend area.
So we're hoping to use the MPO in effect like an urban transportation committee, that can talk to the state and federal government. The law provides a better communication venue for urban cities to speak directly to the federal government, and I think we need to begin to use the MPO in a more aggressive fashion.
Any solution that we identify, any funding that goes towards a solution here at US 97 and Cooley Road needs to first be approved and programmed through the MPO.
The city has been involved in expanding its UGB now for several years.
There's an extensive area in the north end of Bend that is a good candidate to bring into the UGB for employment lands, perhaps along the north side of Cooley Road, perhaps along Highway 97, then of course some at Juniper Ridge as well.
We have 500 acres in the city limits now at Juniper Ridge, and we feel to really get a good start on developing it and to provide land for key infrastructure such as the sewer line, we need probably another 300 or 400 acres added to the UGB.
The city's sewer collection system master plan is in its final stages right now. The North Interceptor, which will serve Juniper Ridge, will also serve other areas of Bend as well, mostly the northwest and west sides of Bend.
As part of the urban growth boundary approval, the council is also going to put the final approvals on the sewer master plan. It affects Juniper Ridge in a couple of ways. One is we need the Northern Interceptor to serve Juniper Ridge and that whole area beyond about 300 acres of Juniper Ridge. So we're eager to see the Northern Interceptor done in the next 3 to 5 years.
The alignment going across Juniper Ridge is currently scheduled to be all gravity. In the future, as development goes out there, there will be sections that will have to be pumped to that gravity line just due to the geographic conditions on Juniper Ridge. The city's UGB expansion and our collection system master plan are very closely aligned, and that's very evident in the north side of the city. All across the north side of Bend, we have multiple developments that are proposed in the future. One of them, of course, is the Juniper Ridge area. It's very critical that we have our master plan in place in order to address those situations in each of those developments.
Both the Northern Sewer Interceptor and the midterm intersection improvement at 97 and Cooley will benefit a broad area of potential employment lands and development properties across the whole north end of Bend.
The ultimate Highway 97 improvement will probably be in excess of $100 million. So we're looking for a first phase, or maybe even ultimately additional phases, that would allow us to get to the full Highway 97 improvement that runs parallel to the phases of Juniper Ridge and other private development in the area and UGB expansion.
Juniper Ridge is really going to happen. It is going to be a great opportunity for the community of Bend to add jobs and to add good paying jobs. And a good example is right behind me. This is the new Les Schwab's headquarters, and it's going up. You can see it's moving along rather rapidly. Right here next to me is Bend's next roundabout, and this is the start of adding jobs at Juniper Ridge.
We've engaged the private sector and our public partners, cities and counties, on projects for a number of years. And in today's environment, really that's the only way we're able to get anything accomplished. No one really has enough money to fund the types of improvements that we're looking at to accommodate the growth and demand that we've got today.
We have for many years talked about Juniper Ridge as a key source of employment land for Bend's future. One of the beauties about having a mixed-use project, as we're promoting and the master plan identifies, is it provides some flexibility in the market. With our bad housing market now, we can really put more of an emphasis on an employment land. In 5 years, there may be a good housing market and a poor employment land market. With a mixed-use development of this quality and nature, that allows us to go in several directions and keep moving forward.
The thing everybody needs to remember about Juniper Ridge is it's about economic development, it's about jobs, and it's about good paying jobs. What we're trying to do here is create an environment where we can attract companies that will pay good salaries to people in Bend, so that we have more living wage jobs and more opportunities for those of us that live here.